Hi, y'all. I'm trying to pull it up so we are. Let me put. All right. All right. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to set this up on TikTok so they can see. All right. I hope they can still hear. All right. How y'all doing tonight? Can somebody do me a favor? Can somebody go on my TikTok to see if you can see my screen? Because I don't know if my screen is showing. How the new TikTok is set up, it just is so difficult. So if somebody can go to Shonda Martin _ on TikTok, let me know if you can see the screen because I can't see the TikTok comments or anything. And then we can go ahead and go. Okay, yes, the playback will be saved. I have wine. Can y'all see on TikTok before I start? I'm sorry, I just don't want to start if it ain't up. That's just gonna make for a difficult. Can y'all see TikTok? Can't see. Can y'all see the screen? You can't see me? Even now. Even still. It's showing. You can see it? Okay. It's not the full screen. Okay, they said it's working. They said it's working. They said it's working. Let me make it high. Okay. Oh, it's like a blank. I'm gonna take calls. Okay, we can start. They said they can. Oh, please, I hope they can. Okay. So if you are okay, yeah, good. I just wanted to make sure. If you are following me on Instagram, you should, if you're not. But if you are following me on Instagram, today we opened up a conversation about credit cards. And I was just going on my normal rant about, not spending on your debit card, using your credit card instead. And do y'all got, first of all, are y'all drinking with me? Are we chilling together or like, what's the vibe? Because get y'all a glass of wine and let's just put the kids to bed. By the way, my kids probably come in here, but we're going to ignore them. Send the kids off. Let's just chill. Let's vibe. Let's talk about credit. I feel like that's the best way to learn when you're just in your natural, comfortable environment, right? Like that's the vibe I'm going for. So get y'all wine glasses or your drink of choice. It don't matter. Whatever your vice is. I just want y'all to vibe with me. That's all. I just want y'all to vibe with me. Okay? We not alkies. It's not alky to enjoy a glass of wine every now and then. Not even whenever you want, child. No, okay. I just wanted to make sure we was vibing. So listen. So today I put up a post saying, like, please stop using your debit card. Please stop using your debit card. And obviously, if you are not new to my platform, I have been saying that. I say it time and time again. But a lot of people, they were confused. So I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about the benefits and why you should, and like actually show you why you should. Because I think that a lot of people don't do it because number one, they just don't know better. Number two, they just don't see the end goal. And number three, they typically will go off what they have been hearing in learning about credit cards, which is 9 times out of 10 is not the most accurate information, especially when we're getting it from like relatives or hearing their bad experiences and stuff like that. We kind of like we be scared. It's echoing. I'm gonna just do TikTok regular. I was trying to show y'all the screen, but it's not giving how it's supposed to. So I'm gonna just do it regular. Can I switch this? I'm sorry if you're on TikTok. Hold on. I'm TikTok's. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna end it, y'all, and I'm gonna come right back because it's not letting me switch over, which is stupid. I'm sorry. All right, I'm coming back. Okay, because the child, we ain't finna play with TikTok tonight. I don't even have the patience. Okay. But bring me water. All right. We are back. We up. So sorry, TikTok. If y'all want to see the screen, y'all can come over to YouTube. I try to use the new feature that they keep telling me to use, which is sharing my screen. They're like, we like the way you educate. Share your screen on here. Every time I try to share it, it doesn't work. So we're just gonna do it regular how we normally do. So we're gonna get to it. Sorry for keeping y'all waiting. Okay. So, anyways, like I was saying, a lot of people don't use their credit card, use it in the right way, or like use it to its advantages because number one, they typically don't know all of the advantages that goes with their credit cards. And then number two, they just don't know how to actually do it. The credit card game, in my opinion, it's one of those things where it's like if you don't know how to use it, you're almost getting the short end of the stick. You're almost getting the short end of the stick if you don't know how to use your credit card because what happens is the bank is the only one winning. The bank is the one that's going to make all the money. The bank is the one that's going to benefit more from you not knowing how to properly use your credit card. So when people question me and ask me, why don't the banks tell us this or why don't they educate on this? It doesn't benefit their bottom dollar too. And that's we're in America, people. I don't know what else to say. We're in America. So that's why. So listen, let's talk about credit cards. But before we even talk about credit cards, we absolutely have to talk about just building credit, just the baseline, because I just feel like it don't make no sense for me to get on here and talk about, hey guys, this is what you need to do with your $20,000 credit line, your $40,000 credit line, or your $50,000 credit line when you haven't, figured out how to get to that point. So let's bridge that gap first, and then we can talk about how to take advantage of those credit limits when you get it, right? So I felt like that would make more sense. So number one, when it comes to building credit, and by the way, all of the advice and all of what we are talking about today is going to be on the basis of getting credit lines, right? Like, so we're not talking really about disputing and stuff like that right now. We're just going to talk about building credit and like adding trade lines and getting access to, capital via trade lines and stuff like that. Okay. Just wanted to get that out the way. The first thing when it comes to credit cards, number one, if you ever have the desire to get access to a high trade line, which a high trade line for a lot of people in the industry, this may be a higher number than you guys are expecting from me, but a high trade line is considered a trade line of 30,000 plus. Okay. So when we are talking about getting access to trade lines of 30,000 plus, know that it doesn't just start at 30,000. You don't walk in the bank and just they give you a $40,000 trade line, $50,000 trade line, and that's it. It doesn't work like that. There are steps to be taken before you get there. There are things that you can do like purposely with the intention of getting there, which is what I'm going to talk about today. And there are just, ways to build it, right? A lot of people probably have a credit card. Right. You probably, even if it's a $200 credit card, even if it's a $200, $300 credit card, it does not matter. A lot of people have probably already gotten a credit card. And if you don't have a credit card, you need to get a credit card. Number one, that's number uno is getting a credit card. Because first of all, when it comes to your credit profile and having a high credit score, it's impossible to have great credit without a credit card. And I meant impossible in a sense of 30% of your credit score is dedicated to having an open revolving trade line, which is a credit card. Therefore, if you don't have a credit card, then you are missing 30% of your credit score, like literally, right? So even if you, let's say you have bad credit, let's say we can just start where I started. I was at a 400, 412, 423, 432, right? Nobody would approve me for a credit card. I used to get pissed off when I would read advice like, just get a credit card, just get a credit card. And I'm like, well, how can I get a credit card if nobody is approving me of a credit card? Like, I'm not just making this up. I'm actively trying to build credit. I'm trying this and I'm applying for this company. They deny me. Y'all telling me to go get secure credit cards. The secure credit cards are denying me. Like, what am I supposed to do, right? Well, there are different types of credit cards, guys. There are different types. And my personal kind of like hierarchy, I break credit cards down into 4 categories. 4 categories. So you're going to have your subprime credit cards is going to be on level 1. Subprime credit cards are going to be for people who have bad credit, meaning like you have multiple derogatory accounts on your credit report. You have maybe collections, charge-offs, repos, bankruptcies. That is considered bad credit. It's just considered bad credit, right? So you have subprime cards, right? And then on level 2, you have starter cards. A lot of people don't realize that like these are not the same thing. Starter cards are going to be tailored towards people who don't have credit, like who have not built credit yet. They haven't messed up their credit, nor have they, added any value to their credit report because they just don't have credit, right? So that is considered a starter. You don't have any bad history nor good history. You don't have anything. You may not even have a credit. You don't have a credit score, right? That is considered no credit. Also, starter cards are also for people who have less than 2 trade lines or 2 or less trade lines. I thought I knocked my mind down, child. 2 or less trade lines, meaning like even if you do have a car or maybe 1 credit card, if you only have 2 trade lines on your credit report, you are still considered a starter, no matter how long you've had them, right? So those are considered starter cards. So we have subprime, we have starter, and then we have like tier 1. Tier 1 are going to be like not tier 1. I guess I should think of a better name. I guess level 3. Level 3 are going to be like your everyday moderate credit cards. Moderate credit cards, meaning like these are going to be credit cards with limits probably starting at around 1,500. They typically will max out around like 5,000 on this level, right? This is when you have built some sort of credit, even if it's 1 or 2 accounts, even if it's you have 1 auto loan, even if you just have student loans and a credit card, you have built some type of credit before you're able to most likely get these little everyday cards, right? And then after the level, where we at? Level 3, then you have level 4 credit cards, which is going to step into the top tier credit cards. These are going to be credit cards that will specialize in flights for travelers. These are going to be credit cards that will give you free hotel rooms, like free flight miles, and the Delta Sky miles, the American Expresses, the beginner level American Expresses and stuff like that. And then you have your elite credit cards, which are going to obviously be credit cards with trade lines that start off at least 50,000. Starting, not that's your trade, that's your amount that you've been having. Starting off at 50,000, right? So there are 4 level, and then after that is going to be like your invitation only credit cards, where it's like the black card, the Centurion card, the reserve card, like just cards that you have to be invited by the institution to even apply. Okay, so that's kind of like how I tier the credit cards, right? So to make it make more sense, I'm going to give you a credit card example so you can kind of like visualize it. I'm a visual learner. So your subprime cards are going to be cards like Credit One. It's going to be cards like First Progress. It's going to be cards like, I'm thinking off the top of my head, cards like Open Sky. It's going to be cards like that, where they typically will have an extremely high interest rate. The limits are never going to be that good. Most of them will have an annual fee, and most of them will be secure. Those are going to be subprime cards, right? And then examples of starter cards are going to be your student cards. Any card that says it's for a student is considered a starter card, because obviously students are just turning 18. They don't have any credit. Like, they know that, right? They're not expecting you to come with a 700 credit score to get a Discover It's student card or a Capital One student card, right? So anytime you see a credit card that says student, that automatically falls on the starter tier, because it does not require you to have any previous credit history. Okay. So then an example of what would be considered your tier 3 everyday cards are going to be cards that's going to tailor to what everyday people spend stuff on. Groceries. What the hell else we buy? Gas. Child, I just feel like we got so many bills, household bills, gas, groceries, and stuff like that. These are going to be the cards like American Express Gold card, It's going to be cards like the City Double Cash, the Chase Slate. Most of Navy Federal cards are going to fall into everyday this level, the everyday category. Yeah, I gotta move this because I have to talk with y'all know I talk with my hands. The wine glasses right there. So that's going to be your tier 3, right? And then where we get into the top tier cards, these are going to be cards that are going to specialize, like I said, in things that people who spend a lot of money on their credit cards do. Travel is going to be, they're going to give you reward points for hotels and things like that. So an example would be like American Express Platinum. That would be considered a top tier card. Chase Sapphire Reserve, that's considered a top tier card. Going off top of my head, I'm trying to think. City, I'm so bad with names. City has one card. I don't know the name of it, but y'all get what I'm saying. It's going to be like the top tier cards that's typically going to start off with a limit of, at the very least, they typically start off around like 5,000 at that level. Obviously, most will start higher, but I think kind of like that starting limit is 5,000. Hold on, my bad, my alarm went off. And then you're going to have your elite credit cards, which are going to be cards, like I said, that they're for people who literally spend probably $50,000 or more a month on their credit cards. So, the Centurion card, you have to be invited for that. So, anyways, the point of me saying that is because a lot of times when you are trying to build credit, a lot of y'all be liking to start off at tier 2 when you haven't shown anything from tier 1. Like you haven't even shown a proven track record of if you can actually be trusted with a limit of anything more than like a $200-$300 card, right? So starter cards, you're going to know the bank will typically only start you off at like 200, maybe 300, maybe they even give you 500, right? They're not going to start you off at a lot because obviously that's a risk that they're taking. You can just not pay them back, and the most that they can do is give you a charge off, right? So a lot of banks are not going to start you off with a $10,000 credit limit if you don't have a proven track record. In fact, most banks won't. I mean, Navy Federal is like the only bank that will give you a chance, even if you don't have like the proven track record, right? But that's because they're a credit union. They don't follow the rules like most banks, so we're not going to use them because they are an exception to the rule. Okay. So if you don't have a credit card, I don't care if your score is a 300. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Even if your score is a 300, I don't care if you have 13 collections, 50 charge-offs, and 2 repossessions. You can still get a credit card, right? At the very least, like literally, if you can't get approved for nobody, Open Sky gonna approve you because they don't even run your credit. Or First Progress is really, typically easier to get. Trying to think, the self secure card, just you have to look at the right places. I'm gonna tell you this: if you have gotten a collection within the last 12 months, don't apply for a Discover card. Don't apply for a Capital One card. It's not worth the inquiry because they are very like they look at that. They see what you've been doing from the last 12 months. If you have recent collections, obviously that's a huge red flag. It's almost always an automatic denial. So knowing that you just had a recent collection, go elsewhere. Go to somebody who's not going to pull your credit like an Open Sky. Now keep in mind, when it comes to secure cards, I have a 2-card limit. I have why that don't sound right? I have a 2-card limit rule. I guess it don't sound right, but I have a rule. You shouldn't get more than 2 secure cards. You shouldn't get more than 2 starter cards. And the reason is because those are there to help you get to the next level. They are like stepping stools. They are like steps, right? So you're not going to rely on those for long. They are literally there just to get you and help you to start cultivating your history, your credit history, showing banks that, hey, I can borrow money and pay it back, because that's essentially all credit is. You showing that you can borrow money and pay it back. Like literally that's all credit is, right? In order to do that, you have to show them with a revolving trade line, right? I can't stress this next point enough. Your car loan, your auto loan is not enough to build credit. It's not enough to build credit, because I have a lot of people that's always like, I've had a car. I got a car. I had 2 cars. I pay it on time, but my credit score is not moving. Your auto loan is not enough to build credit, honestly. Because it's an installment, first off. So honestly speaking, a credit card would have done more for your credit profile, for sure. Your score, without a doubt, it'll do more for your score, especially in the immediate sense, than any installment account can do, just because of how the points are distributed, for your credit report, right? So even if you do, I don't care if you have 10 auto loans on your credit report and you have a perfect payment history with all of them, that's still not a substitution for a credit card, because there's a specific section in our credit scores that will only allot for revolving trade lines, meaning credit cards. And by the way, if you're new here, when I say revolving trade lines, that's just another word for credit cards. It's the same thing. It just means that it's an account that can be used and paid back, paid down, and then used immediately again. It's like a revolving door. So when you hear revolving trade line, think of like a revolving door. You can spend on your credit card, pay it back, and then that credit limit is made available to you immediately, right? So there's a specific section of our credit scores, which is called credit utilization. That is 30% of our scores, right? 30%, meaning like if you don't have a credit card, then you are willingly giving up 30% of your score, right? So y'all already know that y'all need a credit card. Where you get that credit card from is obviously going to be up to you. But if you are not able to get approved for like a Capital One or Discover, because by the way, even Discover's secure cards have a lower approval rating than Amex Gold. Ain't that crazy? Is that not crazy to y'all? I think that's really crazy, because Discover is an amazing bank. But the thing is, they don't play. They don't play. Like literally, it doesn't even matter that it's a secure card. They will deny you and keep it pushing, right? So you want to make sure that if you have bad credit, I wouldn't apply for Discover right away, because they probably gonna deny you. So you said, what's the difference between bad and no credit? No credit just means that you don't have a credit history. Bad credit just means that you do have a credit history, but the history that you do have is bad, meaning the account went into a derogatory status. You didn't pay it. It went into collections. It went into charged out, whatever. So that's the difference. No credit just means you don't have any. Bad credit just means that you did have credit and you messed up on it. You defaulted on it in some way. So after you get your secure credit card, or because everybody don't have to start with a secure credit card. So after you get your first credit card, this is where the game begins. I need some water. I don't want to keep sipping as long. I need some water. But my bad. So once you get your first credit card, that's when the credit game begins. This is when the ball is in your court, and now you have, even if you've messed up in the past, we gonna start all over. Even if you messed up in the past with your credit history, it only matters what you're doing now and what you are doing consistently recently. So I don't care if you had 12 collections. If you have 12 collections, we starting over. That's in the past, we're starting over, right? So now that you have your credit card, so I'm gonna start from, let's say you just got approved for a credit card, and I'm just gonna take you through the perfect scenario in order to hurry up and get to the next level of the next tier of credit card. So somebody just got approved for a secure card. I'm gonna say 200 because that's the most common limit for a secured or starter card, which is like $200, right? Let's say you got a credit card for $200. Before your credit card reports, because it typically will take a credit card about 60 to 90 days to report, depending on the climate, when did you get approved in a month, and all of that, right? So we're gonna just say 60 days, just whatever, 60 days. The first time your credit card reports is so important. It is so important because it establishes that trade line, number one, and it will determine how much of a boost that you're going to receive. And what I mean by that is, if you don't have a credit card, remember I said that by not having a credit card, you're already giving up 30% of your credit profile, right? So when you add a trade line, when you add a credit card for the first time, that's probably going to be the biggest boost in your credit that you're ever going to receive if you do it right. Because a lot of people don't do it right, and which is why they don't really get this big boost. So how you get the big boost is you have a $200 credit card. It came in the mail. You should activate it immediately, because so it can just kind of speed up the process of reporting. First of all, when you first get your credit card, the first thing you should do is call the bank and say, hey, when is my reporting date? Or you can say, when is my statement date? The reason why I say call is because at this point, you're not going to have a bill to go off of. Typically, you can go off your credit card bill to see when your statement date is, but because it's a new credit card, you're not going to have your bill. So call them and say, hey, when does my credit card report? They're going to say, your credit card reports on whatever. It reports on the 15th of the month. So then I need you, on the very first time that credit card reports, to specifically report a utilization between 1% and 3%. I usually go for 2%, to be honest, just because it's in the middle. So let's say you have a $200 credit line. You want the balance. I want you to report a balance on your first reporting date. Report a balance. I want you to, if you have a $200 credit card, I want you to report a balance of, what's that, $2? No, $4. So yeah, around like $3, $4. It keep freezing. Yo, TikTok finna get TikTok. Y'all gonna probably have to come to YouTube. I'm on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook if y'all want to come. I don't know what's wrong with TikTok Live, but anyways, the first time you report on your credit card, I want you to be very specific on what utilization you report, right? Because let me tell you how that's gonna look. As soon as the credit card reports, you're going to get an alert on your credit report, and it's going to say your score went up 70 points. Your score went up 90 points. Your score went up whatever. It's obviously based on your credit profile, so it's going to be different amounts. But if you do it right, and that's your first credit card, your score is going to have a big boost. And that's not an opinion thing. That's just based on how our credit points are distributed. You're going to get a big boost if you report a 2% utilization on your first time specifically, right? A huge boost. And then the months after that, you can obviously, you don't have to really do the 2% if you're not really applying for anything. You can, as long as you stay under 10%, you're good. But you will continuously gain points, especially the first 6 months of having a credit card. That's probably like the most, like, what's the word to explain? That's probably like the when you're going to get like the most boost, like spurts. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get spurts, because typically after 6 months, it's obviously a seasoned trade line at that point. So it's not really going to be very sporadic. It's going to be like, yeah, you may get a few points here and there, but you may not, right? So, but the first 6 months of that trade line reporting is so fucking important. It's so important, right? Even more so because I'm also going to give you guys another rule. So not only is the first time that credit card reports the most important, not only to the bank themselves, but also to your credit report. Because in 90 days after you get your card, I want you to specifically apply for a credit limit increase. I want you to stop waiting on the banks to give y'all credit limit increase. I don't know why y'all do that. I really, truly don't. You wait on a bank to give you a credit limit increase, is going to be the least that they can approve you for. You wait for the automatic increase in approvals, you're going to be waiting for a long time, and then you're going to be waiting for them to give you $300 increase. No, absolutely not. Like, no, we're not doing that no more. We're going to get what we want, and in order to get what you want, you have to ask for it. And don't be scared to ask for it, okay? These banks have money. As long as you've shown them that you can be responsible, they don't mind giving you the money at all. But obviously, you have to keep a cool track record with them, because that's important. Ultimately, it's always going to be dependent on your relationship with them. You can have an 800 credit score, and if you haven't been strategic with this specific credit card, they will still deny you for a credit limit increase. I can't tell you how many times I see that. So many people get denied for credit limit increases, right? All right, so back to the rules. Within 90 days, after 90 days, so literally, if you get approved on January 1st, by March 1st, January 1st, March, that's 60, is that whenever 90 days is, apply for a credit limit increase, right? So, but before we get to the 90 days, I know it's a lot of rules to credit cards, guys. Look, I've memorized it at this point, so it's going to become like just natural for you to do this. I know it sounds like a lot in the beginning. So before we get to the April, my bad, yeah. So before we get to the 90 days, right, I need you to, on this little $200 credit card, because keep in mind, everybody always tell me, well, you can spend on your credit cards because you have the capital available. Like, it's easy to spend on your credit cards when you have so much capital available to you. No, ma'am. I started this on a $300 credit limit, and I can show you. I started doing this when I had a $300 credit limit. So anyways, on your card, I need you to do at least 10 transactions a month. 10 transactions means like spending. So I don't care if you are standing at, it has been times in the beginning where I have stood at a gas station counter and bought gum 10 times. I was not playing, and I'm not playing. I have sat there and did 10 transactions, because it would be like a day before my statement date or something, and I didn't do the transactions like I'm supposed to. I will sit there and do 10 different transactions in a line just because. Obviously, it's going to be best if you don't do them all the same day. I kind of feel like if you show them a pattern of you just constantly spending is better. But if you got to do what you got to do, you got to do what you got to do. Okay. So 10 transactions per month or more, 10 or more transactions per month. Are y'all keeping up? Do I need to run it back? Because I want to make sure y'all getting all these rules. At least 10 transactions, right? So meaning when you're at Burger King and you finna hand them your debit card, just picture me in your ear saying, put that debit card away. Put it away. Put it away. Like, it truly is no point in spending on your debit card. Not in 2022, not when these banks have all this money that they're giving out. No, absolutely not. Don't spend on your credit card. I mean, on your debit cards. Spend on your credit cards. So again, 10 plus transactions a month. And a lot of y'all like, wow, I only been doing 2 or only been doing 3. And that's probably why your credit limit is not increasing. That's probably why that you're getting denied for other products. And that's not saying that, obviously not shading, like seriously, banks care about you spending on a credit card. They don't want to give someone a credit card just for them to not spend on it, right? Which is the same reason why you shouldn't report a 0% utilization, because one or two things can occur. Number one, they can say, oh, this person must not have an active credit line. If they're not really specifically looking at your credit report, it just, when you report a 0% utilization, it just looks like that you don't have a credit card, right? They don't care to look further, obviously. They don't care, right? Or it's they think that you don't use your credit card, which is also a red flag to them. That's not good to them. You don't get kudos from banks for not using the money that they give you. And I know it sounds backwards because, you know, in your mind, you're probably thinking like they should be happy that I'm not using. No, they shouldn't. That's how banks make their money. At the end of the day, it's all about money, by the way. It's all about money. So if they don't feel like they have the potential to make money off you, then they're not going to give you money. And that's just how it is, guys. It sounds this sounds ridiculous. I know. It's just how it is. So at least 10 transactions, but within those 10 transactions, I need you to post at least 3 payments, because that's where a lot of y'all get caught up. I need you to post at least 3 payments per month. At least. It could be more, it could be whatever. The reason why I'm saying at least 3 is because typically what I would recommend someone to do is do a weekly payment. It just shows good faith. Even if your balance is $8, it just shows the banks that not only are you constantly using your credit card, but you are constantly repaying back your credit card. And talk about being in the best position to get a credit limit increase. Multiple transactions and multiple payments, baby. You are speaking the bank's language. Like if they were speaking a coded language, that would be it. Multiple transactions and multiple payments. That is completely up their alley. That is their language, right? So when we start speaking their language and you doing this for 90 days, at least 3 months, when you ask for your credit limit increase, the bank is going to say, they have more than, I know we started them off with a $200 credit limit. We so used to people with a $200 credit limit running up the credit card, reporting, thinking 30% is a good percentage to report, or obviously it's easy to spend $200. Like come on now, you can walk out your damn door in 2022 and that's gonna cost you $200. It's easy to spend it. So they are aware that when they give you these trade lines that they may not give it back, right? And I'm gonna throw another ball in the court that you should consider. My bad, y'all. I just read a comment and it threw off my train of thought because I didn't forget what I was going to say. What? Let me gather my thoughts, y'all. Okay, whatever. What I was going to say is when you what was I talking about, y'all? I mean, I know we were talking about credit cards, but what exact point? Because it threw me off. Because TikTok comments just be. What was I? Yeah, this one. Oh, when you walk out your door, you spend money. So they're used to people running up a $200 trade line, right? They give you that because they can lose it, and they know that it's a possibility that they won't get that money back, which is why they do start you with a $200 credit limit, right? But when you show them that even with $200, you can not only continuously spend and make more out of that credit card than what they're typically see, the money gonna flow. They're gonna give you the money. Like literally, that is all they want, is for someone to spend on their credit card and pay it back. So they're used to people thinking that 30% is a good percentage. And you guys know, we know that's, we ain't got to discuss that because I always tell y'all that. But 30% is just way too high. Oh, that's what I was going to say. If you have a trade line, under under 1,000, but I'm gonna say under 500. There's no reason for you to carry a balance. I hate saying it because I hate saying it only because I remember where you couldn't have told me don't carry a balance because I don't have money to pay it back. Like I get it, right? But I need you to I need you to not carry a balance on a credit card under at least $500. Like, yeah, it ain't no other way to put it. You can't carry a balance on a credit card under $500 and expect the bank to think that you can handle a $30,000 trade line. It's all about perception, right? And yeah. It really is under, I'm gonna be honest, guys, really is under like $1,000. But I do know that can be very difficult for a lot. It don't gotta be difficult if you really treat your credit card like you treat your debit card. It doesn't have to be difficult if you literally just don't spend what you can't afford to pay back. But that is not a perfect world. Things come up, emergencies come up. So sometimes you are going to carry a balance, but it absolutely shouldn't be a situation where every single month you're carrying a balance. But if you have a $200 credit card, it's no, like, you can't afford to carry a balance on that. You can't. Not if you expect to get a credit limit increase. Not if you expect to ever get to the next tier of credit cards, because they're not going to trust you with 10,000 if you can't show them that you can handle $200. They just not, right? So it's all about like showing and proving when it comes to credit, right? So after 90 days, let's say you did more than 10 transactions, you posted more than 3 payments, and you want to apply for an increase, right? So I need about 30 days before we get to that 90-day mark. So I need you to take your utilization to between 1% and 3% like you did on the very first one. The very first time that credit card reported, you reported a 1% to 3% utilization. Right before you apply for a credit limit increase. Don't apply for a credit limit increase if your utilization is 30%, if your utilization is 20%. And I know a lot of you guys are like, well, I've done it before and I've gotten approved. I'm not saying that you won't get approved for a credit limit increase, but you heavily affect how much you are approved for. Because keep in mind, it's nothing to be, when you start to grow your credit score and build your credit, it's nothing to get approved for anything. The shit is going to come so easy that it's like it doesn't mean anything when you get approved for something. What means something is how much you get approved for. I don't even know who this person is. Hold on, yeah. I don't even know how to block them, but whatever. So it's not a matter of you getting approved. Like you can be approved. It's how much. So when you apply for a credit limit increase and you got a balance and you have a 20% interest rate, or not interest rate, you have a 20% utilization or a 30% utilization, you're going to limit how much you get approved for. Okay, this person has really, they doing cool, because keep in mind, 30% utilization is the industry standard, which is, obviously what, they'll teach you. You open up your credit app, it's going to say, make sure you're under 30%. 30% is way too high. It's too high. It's the industry standard. I always say it's like getting a C in school. So it's literally, you're not failing the class. You're not at the top of the class. You're kind of like floating right there in the middle. Reporting a 30% utilization is doing just enough to get by in the credit world. Like literally you doing just enough to get by, right? And when you do just enough to get by, you only going to get just enough to get by. If you only do just enough to get by, that's all you're going to get in return. So when we talking about getting access to, 50,000 plus trade lines, you have to proactively show them, I can handle any trade line. I can handle any credit limit. There's not a credit limit that you can put in my face that I can't handle, right? Because it's all about, because if you can't handle a $200 credit line, you are not going to be able to handle a $30,000 credit line. At all. You are not going to be able to handle it. I'm telling you right now. And I know a lot of people are like, shit, if I get a $30,000 trade, I'll be good. Credit cards are no different from your debit card. You got to pay that money back. I put up a post today. I don't even know to tag the person so I can block them. I don't even know they dang on name. But y'all got to just ignore the trolls. TikTok is always like that. But yeah, so if you can't handle a $200 credit line, you don't even need to go nowhere near a $30,000 trade line, because you talking about being tempted. You talking about you having just $30,000 at your fingertips, and you're expected, and you have to pay back every single thing that you've spent, you're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble that way. What do you mean by don't carry a balance at all? I meant like, don't carry a balance. Pay off your full balance on your due date. Pay off your full balance by your due date. So rule 101 when it comes to credit cards, guys, you don't have to pay interest. I know I say it wrong. I'm from St. Louis. Sorry. I'm country. You don't have to pay interest on any balance that you don't carry over. So if you zero out your balance every time your due date comes, then you don't have to pay interest. I don't pay interest on my credit cards. I haven't paid interest on my credit cards at all, right? But there are two important dates when it comes to your credit cards. And I probably should have started with this because a lot of what I'm saying, y'all probably like, what are you talking about? There are two important dates. So one date is going to be obviously your due date, and then the next date is going to be your statement date. I need some goddamn water. So your due date is going to be when your payment is due. When your bank says you need to pay at least your minimum balance by this date in order to avoid getting a late fee, in order to avoid getting a late payment on your credit report and all of that, right? But then you have your statement date. Your statement date is going to be when your billing cycle closes. Your statement date marks the closing of your billing cycle. So it means that is when your balance is going to be refreshed with the credit bureaus. So, and your statement date is going to be after your due date, meaning if your due date is on the 12th of the month, your statement date is probably not going to be until like the 20th, or I'm just making up a date, but it's all relative to the bank. But your statement date is typically going to be after your due date because the billing cycle, you are billed retroactively. Yeah, that's the word. You are billed retroactively. So if you spend on your credit card this month, you're not going to pay this month's bill until next month, which is why your statement date is going to be after your due date. I'm confused. I figured that y'all was going to be because I didn't really like how I explained that. So let me run it back. Guys, I don't even take clients. What was I finna say? So then, I'm trying to figure out how to explain this without showing the visual. So your due date is when your bill is due. That's when your bill is due, meaning you gotta make a payment, or you are going to get a late payment. A payment can't be considered until your bill has been past due for at least 31 days, right? Past your due date. So your due date, everybody know what their due date is. I feel like y'all are getting more confused on the statement date. So the statement date is when your billing cycle closes, like meaning if it's when your billing cycle closes, it means that is the last day that transactions are going to be counted within this billing cycle. It closes it, and then they're going to bill you next month for this cycle. Does that make sense? Like I'll give you an example. I reschedule all of my credit card due dates because I have so many credit cards that it's hard to keep up. So I reschedule all of my due dates to the second week of the month. So my due dates are typically going to be like around, because obviously, within a month it'll change. So my due dates are typically going to be from like the 8th through the 13th of the month, which will push my statement date to always the last month of the week, the last week of the month. Does that make sense? I don't want to keep going if y'all don't get that particular part. Do y'all get that? Because I kind of feel like y'all don't. Your light bill runs from day one to another day, and then the meter starts. Right. Your statement date just closes the cycle. It's just saying, okay, this cycle is done. Now we can bill you for all the transactions you did in this cycle. Okay, yeah, good. Okay, perfect. So the point is, find out your statement date on every credit card, because that is arguably the most important date when it comes to your credit report, because your balance is not counted on your due date. So even if you zero out your balance on your due date, that is not what's going to be sent to the credit bureaus and used for your utilization at all. The balance on your statement date is what's going to be used for your utilization. So if you've ever wondered, like, why am I paying off my credit card, or I pay X amount of dollars on my credit card, and then when my credit score refreshes, it always tells me that I have a high utilization. It's because you're likely only going off your due date when your utilization is based off your statement date, right? So knowing that, that number one, let me zero out my balance by my due date because I don't want to pay any interest, right? But then before my statement date, because I don't want to report a 0% utilization, I want to make a small purchase. Like literally every single month, I zero out my credit cards. And then before my statement date, I will go and make a small purchase of at least 1% of my limit. At least 1%. Because if you don't do 1%, then the utilization is still going to be zero. So anything less than 1% is automatically going to be zero. Even if it's like, for example, if you have $100 credit limit, or let's do $200. If you have a $200 credit limit and you only left a balance of $1 on there, that's not 1%. That's less than 1% of $200. So therefore, it's going to automatically it's going to automatically round down to 0%. So you have to have at least 1%. Does that part make sense? At least 1%. So I make sure that I don't do this on every card, because I'm not gonna hold you. Every card, I just, I really don't care if it's at a 1% or maybe a 6% or something like that. But my cards that I know that I want to increase, or I know that I'm kind of like trying to build a relationship with that bank, and I know that I want some big money from them, I am going to strategically make sure that 1% is going to be one between 1 and 3%. Is going to be what's reported on my statement date. On my statement date. Come here. I need some water. On my statement date. Okay. Because again, 0% is not good. 0% is not good. 0% not. Please run that back one more time. Girl, I don't even know which one you was talking, what part you was talking about. Like the whole thing with the statement date and the due date. Okay, so now that y'all know how to spend on your credit cards, and you got this $200 credit card, you know that you shouldn't be carrying the limit. Give me some water, some ice and water. You know that you shouldn't. You can open it. You know that you shouldn't be carrying a balance, especially if you have a credit limit of under $1,000. If you can help, you can't help it. You can't help it because you can help it if you don't spend what you can't afford to pay back within 30 days. Because we really have to start regarding our credit cards like we do our debit cards. If you know you can't go on your bank account and take the money out that right away or within the next, 2 weeks, because you know what your paycheck gonna be. You already know. Come on, y'all. We know. We know what we can afford and we know what we can't afford. We really gotta like cut the BS when it comes to that. We know what we can afford and we know what we can't afford. So if you can't afford to pay those shoes off or whatever you're buying, then don't buy it, especially when you are building credit, especially when you are not where you want to be credit wise. I'm telling you, if you do this for a good 9 to 12 months, you're going to be so grateful that because listen, the only part that's hard about building credit is the beginning. That's all. Because after you get access to trade lines and stuff like that, it's way easier to manage, because obviously you have more capital available to you. My 1% of my total limit is super high, so it's very easy for me to stay low, right? So when I come on here and say, guys, my utilization is 1%, understand that it's very easy for my utilization to be 1%. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It ain't hard for me to report a 1% utilization because I do have so much available to me. So I understand that. Like I'm very aware of that. However, it did start with me abiding by these same rules, even when I didn't have a lot of capital available to me, because that's the thing. So when you are in the beginning and you only have maybe 1,000 or even under 3,000 at times, because shit, our monthly bills is so high. Like really, it's easy to spend, right? And somebody said, do you pay your monthly bills on your credit card? The ones that I can, there are certain bills that just you can't pay with a credit card, but every single thing that I can pay with a credit card, I do. Obviously, some instances you have to connect like a bank account, and that's going to be from your debit card, from your bank account. But if I can pay with a credit card, I pay with a credit card, no matter where I'm at. Because first of all, your credit card is going to be more secure than your debit card anyway. Not only is it more security, so you don't, if somebody steal from you, if somebody steal your credit card and they spend on your credit card, your bank is just going to reverse it's credit. It's credit. They're just going to reverse the transaction.
Cold or hot?
You can put some ice in it and then just give me some water. Cold. Thank you, baby. Give me the plastic. Well, you that's fine. So yeah, it's really easy. It's really easy to manage your credit in terms of your utilization after you start to get more credit cards and get credit limit increases. But you have to start from the bottom. The hardest part is going to be building, because when you put in that sweat equity, I call, in the beginning of building your credit, you're going to benefit from that for life if you can obviously maintain it, because you do got to maintain your credit. You can't just get to a point and you like, oh, it's it, that's it, all bets are off, I'm just gonna spend what I want. No, you still have to obviously manage it, but I feel like in the beginning you have to micromanage. But after you get to a certain point, it just becomes so natural to you. Like honestly, it just honestly becomes just natural. Just it's just a part of your life, a way of life. What's considered a hardship? Like what you're talking about for banks? Why can't I get a credit limit increases? Okay, let me tell you. The two biggest reasons for credit limit increase denials, and this is per studies. Number one, you don't use your credit card enough, or number two, you don't pay it back enough. Which is, remember what we discussed in the beginning. If you go by that formula, if you go by this formula and it fail, I will pay your credit card bill for 3 months, and I'm standing on that. I'm standing on it, because if you do at least 10 transactions a month, at least 3 payments a month, and make sure you report a utilization below 10%, and your score does not increase, and you don't get a credit limit increase, and you can show me that you did that. And obviously, don't do it to the point where you just got a fresh collection, and that's why you're possibly getting denied. But if you can show me that they denied you because of usage or because of any other reason other than like credit collections and stuff like that, I will pay your credit card bill for 3 months. And I'm going to say this live. Because I'm that confident in that formula. I've recommended that formula thousands of times over and over again, and it's worked without a doubt. And it's only because of how our credit scores are made. It's how our credit scores are made. Which is probably, I should have went over that because I see we have a lot of new people today. So for those of you who are not aware, your credit scores range between 300 and 850. 300 and 850. So you have 550 points that you are able to get or not. So the lowest your credit score can be is a 300, and then the highest your credit score can be is a 850. No matter how bad your credit is, no matter how many collections, how many charge-offs, how many bankruptcies, you cannot go under a 300. You either do not have a credit score, or you have at the very least a 300 credit score. No matter how great you are with your credit, how many years you have, you cannot exceed a 850. And we're talking about FICO scores, an 850. So between 300 and 850. That is 550 points. If you add that up, 300 to 850, 550 is the difference, right? So in order to make up the difference, you have to first know how those points are distributed, because it does make a difference, right? So 35% of your credit profile is going to be tailored towards your payment history. How many one-time payments that you have versus how many late payments that you have, right? So you want, obviously the best case scenario is to not have late payments on your credit report. That's the best case scenario. But it's not a perfect world. Sometimes we have late payments, whatever. You want if your payment history percentage, because it's a percentage, it's how many on-time payments that you've made versus how many times that you have been late. If your percentage is below 97%, you're going to find that maybe instant approvals are not going to always be your strong suit. Maybe you're going to get denied for that, and you have to like either do a PIP. Thank you, baby. Ooh, make me want to eat the ice. Hold on, y'all. My mouth dry as here. Shout out to Creditversity. Oh, that is real pictures. So yeah. So your payment history is 35% of your score. That 35%. So remember, I'm gonna keep saying 550 points, because that is the only points that you really have control over. 550. Okay. Yeah, I love ice. So the 35%, which is your payment history, that is, of those 550 points, that is 192.5 points. 192.5. Can I type on this? Yeah. If you're on YouTube, you're able to see my screen. So you can, if you're a visual learner, you probably should go over to YouTube, because you guys can see. All right. Yeah. All right. So between 300 and 850 is your credit score. That means that you have 550 points to get. Right? 192.5 of those points are your payment history. Literally, solely dedicated to your payment history. The best case scenario is to have 100% payment history. And That's the best case scenario. If you don't have 100% payment history, then you can kind of look into trying to get goodwill adjustments and maybe disputing your late payments, but that's a different live. We're talking about credit cards today. So then the next section is going to be your credit utilization, which is 30% of your credit score. That 30% is worth 165 points. Of that 550 points that you have available, 192.5 is dedicated to your payment history. 165 is dedicated to your credit utilization. Keep in mind, you don't get any of those 165 points if you don't have an active credit card. So even if you had a credit card in the past and it closed, regardless if you closed it or the bank closed it, if the card is not active, meaning open, you don't get any of those points. None. Okay. So 165 points. So then what comes next after the credit utilization, hold on, baby, is credit age. Credit age is worth 82.5 points. Hold on, Kylie, because I forget. Credit age is worth 82.5 points. Credit age is how long you have had dealing with credit, meaning like how long you've had open accounts. Your credit age is going to go up and down because it's an average. So you will take your oldest trade line, and trade line is just another word for an account that's reporting on your credit report. So you would take your oldest trade line, the age on that account, times your newest trade line age, and then you would divide it by the total amount of accounts that you have on your credit report. That's going to give you your average credit age. Or you can just log into Credit Karma or any other credit term app, and they'll give you your your credit age. But your credit age will go up and down because every single time you close an account and every single time you open an account, your credit age is going to be affected, because keep in mind, it goes based on an average. Okay, so even if your first trade line was open 10 years ago, if recently you've opened up a ton of trade lines, then your credit age is probably going to be super low, right? So for credit age, it's 15% of your total credit score, which is worth 82.5 points, right? And then the next thing is going to be inquiries, which is 10% of your score and also worth 55 points. So of that 550 points, inquiries can only take up 55 points. You can have 10,000 inquiries on your credit report, and the most damage that it can do is 55 points total, which is why I always tell you guys, why y'all be letting the increase stress y'all, because you can still have damn near an 800 credit score even if you have 1,000 increase. Especially in the beginning, stop tripping on increase because of how I'm gonna flip the phone around in a minute, but let me finish because y'all know I goes off on tangents. So the remaining 55 points of the 550 is going to be for credit mix, and totally that will add up to 550 points. Let me show you. I'll show y'all next. So this is what I was just saying. Your credit scores range between 300 and 850. Are you taking pictures? 300 and 850. There's a 550 point difference. Screenshot this, y'all, because I have to pick up the other device. 192.5 points is dedicated to your payment history. 165 points is dedicated to your credit utilization. Actually, I could just turn y'all around like this. Hold on, y'all. That didn't work how I thought it was going to work. Hold on. 82.5 is your credit age, and then increase are 55 points, and then credit mix is 55 points. Okay, so that is your total credit score. Like literally, that is what makes up your credit score. I'm gonna repeat it again, y'all, because I have to show them. All right, so this is what I was referring to. Your credit scores ranges between 300 and 850. There's a 550 point difference. 192.5 points is for your payment history. 165 points is for your credit utilization. 82.5 points is for your credit age. 55 points is for your increase, and then the other remaining 55 is for the credit mix. So screenshot that, and then we can keep going. All right. Okay. So now that you know the breakdown of your credit score, oh, my bad, y'all. I could have made it bigger. I didn't realize y'all couldn't see it. It's better. So now that you know the breakdown of your credit score, you know what to do and what not to do. And what I mean by that is you already know that 65% of your score is solely based on having a credit card and making sure you pay on time. 65%, because 35 is payment history, 30 is credit utilization. You add those two up, and that's the bulk of your credit report. So I always tell people, if you just zone in on the top two sections of your credit report, you are at least going to have a 650 credit score at the very least. And that's just zoning in on the top two sections. The top two. That's not even getting the points for credit age and inquiries and credit mix. That's literally just focusing on your payment history and your credit card, right? One thing that I really have to note that's important about your credit utilization, because it's not enough to just have a credit card. You don't get 165 points just because you have a credit card. No. Credit cards are based on your utilization. That's all that it is based on. So when you go off the industry standard, which is 30%, of those 165 points that you can possibly get for having a credit card, if you report a 30% utilization consistently, or obviously higher, but 30% is only going to give you access to about 70 of those points. 70. So 70 of the 165. So it's not even giving you access to half of the points that you could get had you had you reported a utilization under 10%. 1 or 3% is going to give you the most of those points. But as long as you're under 10%, it's going to give you at least like 95 of those points. Every month, you don't have to be at 1%. But I do think that every month consistently, you should be under 10%. Like, obviously, you're going to have those one-off months where, you just have, it's higher than normal. And yeah. But for the most part, there should be an overwhelming pattern on your credit cards, especially in the last 12 months, that shows that your utilization has been below 10%. Especially on the cards that you know that you want a credit limit increase on. Especially like if you have an American Express card, if you have a Chase card, if you have a Citi card, if you have a Navy Federal, bless you. If you have a Navy Federal card, bless you. You want some water? A Navy Federal card, anything. All of those banks are, number one, very utilization sensitive, right? And number two, they are relationship banks, meaning like no matter what is on your credit report, like literally no matter what's on your credit report, their decision ultimately is going to be based on what you have, your relationship with them, what you have done with them. No, I ain't say Capital One for a reason. So no matter what your score is, no matter what has happened, their decision for giving you a credit limit increase is ultimately going to be determined off your relationship. They're what's considered relationship banks. So that means that, yes, your credit utilization is an overall percentage, meaning like if you have more than one credit card, it's technically going to be an overall percentage. So if you have a 40% utilization on one card, but then you have 3 other cards that have a 1% utilization, the average is probably going to average off to where you need to be. But that specific bank that you constantly keep reporting a high utilization to, they're not going to give you an increase just because your overall utilization is below 10%. No, they're going to care about what you have done with them, right? So Navy Federal, not Capital One, Navy Federal, Citi, Chase, American Express. Obviously, I'm probably missing banks, but those are going to be your biggest relationship banks. The reason why I say not Capital One is because Capital One, they don't care. Like, yeah, obviously they care a little bit, but their decision is definitely based on your current credit report more so than what you have done with them. And they're very stingy with their limits. They don't really give a lot anyway, so I don't really be including. Outside of starter cards, I never include Capital One when I'm talking about like capital, because they don't give capital, in my opinion. They don't give capital. Yeah, so the banks that are going to give you some money are relationship banks. Protect your relationship with that bank, meaning I don't care what your other cards are. You make sure that that those cards are going to be below 10%. Below 10%. I don't care what you're doing on your other cards. Like for an example, I have a lot of credit cards. A lot of them I regret getting, but my main credit cards is going to be like American Express and then Citi and Chase. Those 3 are going to be my main credit cards. Those 3 that no matter what's going on in my life, they are going to have a good utilization, because I know that I'm going to come to them when I want some more money. I know that that's a relationship that I value. That's a relationship that is mutually beneficial. And that's a relationship that if shit hit the fan tomorrow, one thing about American Express, they're going to give your girl some money. Chase is gonna give me some money, but it's based on what I have done with them. So because I know that, I make sure that I don't mess them up. I make sure that I'm very strategic on how I spend those cards. Can you speak about the X1 card? Yeah, I like the X1 card. It hasn't replaced my Amex like I thought it was. I like it though. I really like it. Bank of America. They like Capital One. I mean, they like Capital One to me. Like they not. I wouldn't put Bank of America even with Navy Federal for sure. No, no way. Not even Wells Fargo. Hell no. Hell no, not Wells Fargo. Discover. Discover is good. Discover is good. Yeah, Discover. I wouldn't put them in that category, but they are better than Capital One to me. But I wouldn't put them with the Chases and the American Express and Citi. Personally, I wouldn't. Let me ask y'all a question because I can't think of it off the top of my head. What's Discover's top card? I can Google it. The internet is free. Let's Google it. Discover Premier Card. What's they considered? No. I'm trying to see. I don't know why I can't think of a top card for them, and that really leads me to believe that they don't have one. But let me make sure before I say something. I know they got the miles. I see a lot of y'all saying the miles, but that's not really a top tier card. Yeah, Discover. Okay, and I can respect that. Discover doesn't try to even get in the top tier lane. The it mile, I wouldn't consider that a top tier. I just wouldn't, only because I'm looking at it right now, and what do they give you? Like what is nothing special about them. Hold on, because I'm trying to see, because I could be wrong, because I just not acceptable. 1%. No, they give you 1% on travel purchases. There's no way that could be considered a luxury car given 1%. But not to bash them, because I don't think that they position themselves as being a top tier card. You know, like not every bank wants to go in that lane. So I really think that Discover is the perfect mid tier card. I feel like they specialize in starter and mid tier. Capital One specializes in starter. I guess you can say mid tier. But yeah, Capital One is more so that. Although Capital One does try to position themselves as a premier card when they, with the what's the card name? Not Discover, Capital One Venture, the Venture and the Venture X. That is supposed to be their top of the line premier card, but it is not really that good of a card in my opinion. So that's, like I said, that is my only beef, because Discover, they know what they're good at. They stick to it. They do it very well. Capital One, on the other hand, they try to get in every class and they can't, but they try to. So, yeah. Let me see. They are good for cashback within the time. Most banks are good for cash. Listen, cashback, and I'm not. I be feeling like I be bashing Capital One too much, and I don't want to. But we ain't gonna lie and say that no, cashback is not anything outstanding on credit cards nowadays. Most cards are going to give you cashback. So, and I'm only saying that because I don't want them to dangle a silver shiny thing in front of y'all head and y'all take that thinking that it's something that it's not. At the very least, they can give you cash back. That's not anything special, and don't let them make you feel like that's special, because then you're gonna accept it and think that you can't get other stuff. Every bank that's going to give you a credit card nowadays is going to give you cash back. That's nothing special. So don't let fucking Capital One make you feel like 1% cash back is anything special. Discover It secured card. Their secured credit card gives you at least 2% cash back. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that with Capital One. So y'all be making me bash them because y'all be giving, because it be y'all. I be trying to stay away. I don't be liking bashing them. Because I be feeling like it looks like I don't like them, and I do like them for starter cards. I just don't like them for premier cards. That's it. But anyways, back to what we were saying. Credit One is going to be is a subprime card. I know they have that American Express card. Y'all quit asking me about these companies, because y'all know I don't know how to lie even if I could, and I don't be one of the best companies. Apple Card is the perfect everyday card. Apple Card is an everyday card. It's definitely not considered top tier, even though I know some people like to put them there. I don't know why. Capital One is perfect for what they are, which is an everyday card. But anyways, So now that you know how your credit score is broken down and you have your credit card, you know how to spend on it and all of that. Then start applying for cards that fit your lifestyle. Apply for cards that fit your lifestyle. Don't apply for cards just because you've seen somebody else get it and it worked for them. No. Like, for example, I have made a video on TikTok talking about the American Express Platinum card. I cannot tell you how many people commented was like, I just applied for this, or oh, sorry, I felt the burp coming, but it wasn't coming. I can't tell you how many people like applied for it, and then they came back and was like, why did you recommend that? That card is not for everyone. It has a $550 annual fee. So first of all, I always tell people, if you don't travel more than 6 or 7 times a year, I wouldn't recommend the platinum to you, because that card is basically designed for travelers. They don't call it a travel card. I think now they do. Actually, I think now they do. But when it first came out, they never referred to it as a travel card. But all of their benefits are tailored towards like travel stuff, hotels, restaurants, flights, all of that, right? So that is not going to be a card if you don't travel, because you're going to be paying that $600 annual fee, $500 annual fee for nothing. For nothing, right? So don't get cards that just because the limits are whatever they are. Understand that it comes with a cost if you don't utilize the card how it's intended to be used. Yeah, it's the business one is, I want to say $650, and then a personal is $550 a year. I don't know. I have both of them. But I don't be knowing I don't know the difference. But I don't care about the annual fee, only because I get way more than $550 a year from them. I haven't, guys, I'm not even joking. Let me see if I can pull it up without showing my address. Not even joking. I haven't paid for a flight in well over a year. And I'm talking out of the country. I'm talking about, obviously just interstate, domestically, $600 flights that I have not paid for a flight in I don't know how long, to the point where I almost had to pay for a flight like last week because I had booked it too late. They didn't have the flight available, and I almost threw up. I almost fucking sat there and puked. I couldn't believe where life had brought me. No, because I'm completely spoiled when it comes to flights now. I'm not gonna lie. I realized that. I said, "Oh, you didn't got spoiled." I am so spoiled when it comes to flying. I'm not gonna pay for no airline. I'm not finna pay for no flight, not when my platinum exists. But it's because how I spend on it, I spend in a way where I know, okay, let me get all of my travel points. I transfer my points into flight miles always. I don't never, because you can do more, because a lot of people always ask me like, well, if you're not a traveler, then how could this benefit me? I always use the example of travel with spending my points, because that's how I spend my points. But there are so many other things that you can do with your points. Like so many. Like literally, I can go buy Laker tickets. I can get free Laker tickets right now if I wanted to. I ain't even got to tell you. I could just show you. Hold on. I'm gonna show y'all. I gotta wait. I hope they don't show. Let me log in. Oh wait. Am I sharing my screen? Okay. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, I was gonna get my whole login, everything, child. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. What's my password? Hold on, y'all. I feel like we do this every live. I gotta go through, remember my freaking password, because I don't be logging into these sites on the computer. It'd be on my phone. Okay, here it goes. But anyways, the $600 fee, baby. I don't care about that, not even a single bit. One of my flights is more than $600, and it's free. It was free, so it's all in the gift. Would you like to forgot password? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to think. What did I? Damn, yeah. I recently changed all my damn passwords and forgot it. Don't lie. I just pissed myself off because I locked myself on my account. Now I have an attitude. Shit. All right, we will visit that part in a little bit when I figure that out, because I think I just locked myself out. But the point is, if you use the card how it's intended, then that fee is not anything. Not only do I get free clear TSA pre-check, you know, where you don't have to wait in line at the airport. Well, you have to wait in line, but it's like a shorter line. I'll be getting free first class. I'll get free upgrades to my flight tickets all the time. Now, I will say I don't always take the upgrades because they do take points. So most if it ain't free, I don't take it. Because I'll sit and coach. I don't give a fuck. We all on the same plane. We gonna get there at the same time. I'm not one of those people that have to be in first class. I do sometimes, but I don't have to be. But yeah, like I get way more than them. They live $550 a month, or not a month, a year. Yes, I'm drinking water out of coffee mug. That's what my daughter brought me. All right, let me see. This is all getting in and utilizing it. Right. Get in. Okay, so that's what I was saying. All right, so you get your first credit card, you do what we said, what we, discussed, all of that. Then after about, I say, have your first credit card at the very least 90 days. You're gonna notice that I say 90 days a lot. And it's because how the financial world and the banking world, how they work, is typically going to be in like 3-month intervals, meaning when you apply for a credit limit increase, what they really are going to pay attention to is what you have been doing the last 90 days. So how many times have she used her card within the last 90 days? And yeah, by the way, if you're active military, the fee is waived. So it's typically going to be based solely on the last 90 days, which is why you're going to hear that 90-day thing a lot. So after you have your first credit card for at least 90 days, then I would apply. If you've done what I told you to, I would not apply for another starter card. I would go ahead and apply for a mid-tier card. I would totally skip getting a second starter card. I would just skip that if you have done, like I said, what we have outlined today. Oh yeah, the airport lounges. That's a whole, yeah. I forgot all about that. Yeah, you don't have to wait at the gate. You get to chill in the lounge. You get free food, free drinks, Wi-Fi, massages, all that, depending on what port you're at. But hold on, y'all. I'm gonna talk about the X1 card in just a second. I see y'all keep asking about it. So yeah, after you have your first card for about 90 days, you've done at least 10 transactions a month, at least 3 payments a month. Apply for a mid-tier card. So this is where you're going to apply for like a Discover It, the regular card, or a Capital One Quicksilvers, or not X1, because I guess that wouldn't be considered. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. City Double Cash, American Express Gold. If you want to get into the American Express family, try to start with the American Express Gold or the American Express Blue Everyday Cash. Those are going to be like the American Express's starter cards. And when we say starter cards for American Express, is not like a starter card for other banks. So you still are required to have at least, I would say, mid 600s. But like I said, if you've done what we've outlined, you should have at least a 600. If you haven't got any new collections and stuff like that, or around it, then I will apply for that. So if you want the American Express Platinum, if you want the American Express business cards and stuff like that, a good way to get in the door is going to be the American Express Gold or the Blue Everyday Cash. Those are going to be the easier American Express cards to get approved for. And then after you had those, because once you're in the door with American Express, you in there, you live there. They don't pull your credit again when you apply for another card. Even if it's a business card, when you apply for a credit limit increase, they don't pull your credit at all. You don't get another hard inquiry after you already have American Express. I was looking for my damn Carmex. Yeah, I love the Blue Everyday card. I'm trying to think of the name of the one. I can't think of the name, so I ain't even gonna try. I'm not trying to be annoying. I've just been trying to get an answer for months. On what? Okay. So then once you get 2 credit cards, and because you rinse and repeat every single card, it's the same thing. The Chase Sapphire Reserve is an amazing card, like amazing card. But once you get in the rhythm of you have your first credit card, you already know what to do. Then it literally just becomes easy after that. If you keep doing, but you have to keep doing that though. Don't just stop. You really do have to keep making sure that you are spending on your credit, using your credit cards, and also paying them back multiple times. Because honestly, it's really not enough to just I'm gonna say it's not enough to just do 1 payment a month, but it is enough depending. But you're just gonna. I kind of feel like if you wait until 1 payment a month, you make it harder to pay down your card. It's a lot easier to cover these $8 payments, these $10 payments that you're constantly doing on a day-to-day, than to at the end of the month when you get a bill for a $700 credit card bill. Now you're like, oh man, I can only afford to pay $100. Or only, you get what I'm saying? I would not let it add up, especially not even later on down the line. I just wouldn't. I just find that it's way easier and you're able to control your utilization way better if you make constant payments. Stop waiting to pay your credit card once a month. It's almost a sure way to have you have high utilization. It's almost a sure way because you're not going to want to pay all that in the end. But when you replace your credit card with your debit card, then you will start to you're gonna start to only spend what you can afford to pay, because you know that Friday I'm gonna have to make this payment, or whatever I'm gonna swipe this credit card for, I gotta make sure that I'm gonna pay it back Friday by the end of this week, or it doesn't have to be Friday, but you get what I'm saying. Make a habit of constantly paying on your credit card. That's probably like the biggest lesson that I've learned. When you get into the habit of constantly paying on it, it's way better. So pay down after no, I don't pay down after each purchase, because I mean that's, you can, but that's a lot. I typically will kind of pay every few days. Right now I've been paying, because I use my credit card so much, I typically will pay every few days. It'll be kind of like a thing where it's like, oh, I ain't looked at my credit card balance in about a few days. Let me see what it is. I'll go in there. I'll be like, okay, I done did a little too much this week, or I need to slow down, but let me go ahead and pay that off, because I don't spend anything that I can't afford. Because I put up a post today on my Instagram where I showed you guys that one of my cards had an $80,000 spending limit, right? And a lot of people was like, girl, go buy a car. You can go buy a car. You can go buy a car, and then what? It ain't like I'm gonna buy a car and then I ain't gotta pay that money back. No, I have the capital, but don't think that I'm just like out here balling on my credit cards like I'm gonna buy a car on my. And first of all, I wouldn't buy a car on my credit card because the interest rate. Come on now, these credit card interest. You think I'm gonna buy a $80,000 or whatever a car on my credit card, and I'm gonna pay a 20% interest rate when I can get a personal loan and pay 1% interest rate? That's a whole nother conversation, but. A lot of people was like, girl, if I had that, I would do this and I would do that. No, you wouldn't. Not if you regard your credit cards how you do your debit card, you wouldn't. Hell no. I'm not spending, I'm not gonna spend anything that I can't pay back. So, and I'm not gonna lie, there has been so many weeks and months where I look at what I've spent and I'm like, I don't want to pay this. I really just want to pay 30% of it or whatever. It get hard sometimes, especially when that's just human nature. Sometimes we spend too much, sometimes, but what I do is I hold myself accountable when it comes to my credit cards. Oh, baby, one thing that's going to be held accountable is my credit cards. I don't give a fuck how mad I am in myself. I'm going to pay my credit cards. Baby, the electric damn near ain't going to get paid. No, I'm just playing. By the way, your household bills, why don't you, okay, you know how when you finna pay your gas bill, your electric bill, or whatever bills you have to pay, your cable bill, pay it on your credit card. You were going to literally go into your bank account and spend that money on your debit card. Instead, pay it on your credit card and then just transfer the money to your credit card. So you just killed two birds with one stone. You had a transaction, a big transaction, because they love seeing monthly bills on your credit card. Yeah, my bad. I'm a little stuffy. They love seeing monthly bills on your credit card. That's another thing that I meant to tell you guys. If you have a bill that they can see that you pay every single month, so like your utilities, if you put them on auto pay and then just pay your credit card off, because you were going to pay the bill anyway. You literally were going to pay the bill anyway, so you may as well pay it on your credit card. But when banks see that you have utilities or whatever monthly payments or bills set up on your credit cards, oh baby, they love that. They eat that up. Oh, they love that. Oh, another rule that just made me remember. When it comes to your credit cards, for the top companies, set up auto pay. But hear me out, because I know a lot of times when we hear auto pay, you're like, oh my God, I'm not going to do that, because what if I don't have it? Set up auto pay, but set auto pay to the minimum balance, right? The minimum balance. The reason why I say that is because at the very least, they're only going to take your minimum. You obviously will be making payments, because we're going to be making payments every week, but you're going to be making payments. So the minimum may only be a couple dollars if you get into the habit that we're talking about. But you setting up auto pay especially before you ask for a credit limit increase for more than a month, more than one billing cycle, is another thing that's going to get you credit limit increases at a higher capacity than what you're probably doing now. Even if you have a low pay, even if you have a low utilization and all of that, obviously banks love they want you to be on auto pay. They want you to be on auto pay. So even if it's just for your minimum, because it doesn't have to be for your full amount. Mine is just my minimum. It's something about telling them that they can take my whole bill that just don't sit right with me. I'd rather just do it. I mean, I know that's me. That's a me problem. But it's something about telling them that they can take their full balance that just don't sit right with my soul. Therefore, you can take the minimum because most of the times I don't even have a balance left over because I would have already been paying my credit card. So a lot of times, most months actually, I'll get an email like your auto pay is scheduled, but you don't have a balance or whatever, and it just be like whatever. But yeah, it's something about them telling them that they could take the full amount. I just can't get jiggy with that. But maybe one day for real. But I don't know. So I'm trying to think of what else I'm missing because I'm doing this all off memory. So I know it's probably like small things that I'm missing. But as you guys ask questions, I guess I'll think of it. Okay, let me see. Most minimum payments. Well, obviously that's going to depend on your credit limit and all of that. But most minimum payments are probably like $25 or depending on how much you spend. But on average, it's probably like $25 to $50. Can you pay your car with your credit card? Why you got me thinking about how I've been paying my car? Because now I'm trying to think. What account do my car payment come out of? I think it is my credit card, but maybe not. I don't know. Let me see. I think for most banks, they require you to pay with your bank, right? I don't know why I can't think. I don't know. I'm a C, but I don't know. I think most cars you have to pay with a bank. I could be wrong. And maybe every company is different, but I believe that my company, I don't know how I get paid. Thank God they ain't came and repoed it because I really don't know how I get paid. Now I'm finna look. How the hell my car note been getting paid? But y'all know my car note is only like $3. It's $3.78, literally. So it probably is coming out my bank account. I don't know. I'm gonna look. Santana. Yeah. So okay. So a lot of people said that theirs don't accept credit cards. That's what I was thinking. Most cards, and I know like rent payments, I know for the most part, a lot of them don't accept credit cards. So there are going to be some scenarios where you can't use a credit card, which is why I say like your household bills, because mostly your household bills are going to be able to accept a credit card. Yeah, my voice getting so scratchy. I'm sorry for keep grunting in y'all ear. But when I talk a lot, that's what happens. Okay, no. Y'all getting caught up on the $3. It ain't what y'all think. It ain't like I just went to go get a whole car and it's $3 because I've basically paid it off, and I just don't want to. I don't want to end my installment. I don't want to completely pay it off because I want to preserve the credit age. So it ain't like some cool ass story. Like, yeah, I went into Mercedes and they gave me a car note for $3. I wish, but nah, it's just because I had pretty much paid it off. But because I care about my credit age and it's something. So credit age is what I struggle with. Credit age is my enemy right now. So I can't afford to end any installments early. Therefore, even though I want to pay off my car and I can pay off my car, I will not do it. So I paid off a bulk. I paid off 95% of my car note, and then the remaining 5%, I asked my bank to recalculate my monthly payment, which brought it down to $3.78. So it's not a cool story how you guys was expecting, but I mean it is $3.78. But that's because I've already paid what it was due. Yeah. Why didn't you just pay the total amount in the beginning for my car? Why would I? Hell no, I'm not finna just go give them $80,000 and say they take it, and then I'm finna drive off the lot with a depreciating asset and I didn't gain anything from that. Hell no. I financed it because I knew that my credit score would give me a great rate. My interest rate on my car is only 1%. So I mean, I pay under $300 total in interest. And you need to be building credit. If you are going to buy anything expensive, I hope at the very least you're going to be building credit. You got to get something out of everything. That's how with money. I feel like every purchase that I make, I need to be getting something out of it, or I just don't need to be making that purchase. Like, I don't know. I think that's I'm sure I'm jaded because I'm in the industry and I'm probably overthinking that, but there's no way I'm buy inexpensive anything and not benefit from it. So yeah, one is y'all just don't let me say my little cool lines and let it stick. Now I gotta explain. So it's not actually 1%, it's 1.67, but it sounds cooler saying 1%. Can I stick with my 1%? I just like how 1% sound, but it's 1.67. So I guess that would round up to 2. But yeah. Getting a Mercedes is not hard. Getting a Mercedes is not hard at all. And stop thinking it's hard. It's really not hard. It's all in your credit score. It's all in your credit score. Every car. There's not a car in the world that I can't tomorrow go get if I want it. I'm not, but isn't I can go get it if I want it because of my credit score. Not even honestly. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all a little secret. It ain't even a secret, but when you have great credit on the basis of primary trade lines and not authorized user trade lines, they don't even ask you to prove your income. I can't tell you the last time I went to a car lot and they told me to prove my income, and I'm talking luxury car lots. I was literally just at Tesla the other day because I'm thinking about getting one. Never even asked for income verification after we discussed what I wanted. When you get a certain credit score, you have a different conversation when you walk into a car lot. And I'm not saying that on some, I'm a boss at, no. I'm saying that genuinely because you do have a different conversation when you can walk in and show them, I have great credit, and it's not on the basis of an authorized user. Like, these are all primary trade lines. This is my credit. Like, you know, you can check that the bank, they gonna send it through, you know, a bank, or you should be walking in with financing if you have a good credit score. But that's a whole nother conversation. But it's not hard to get any car in the world if you have good credit. Stop letting IG, and you don't have to be rich to get a luxury vehicle. Instagram makes it seem that way, and I know. But most of the luxury vehicles that you guys are seeing on Instagram are financed at an extremely high interest rate, and they probably shouldn't have had their ass down in Mercedes anyway. Because I have a rule: you shouldn't have a luxury vehicle if your interest rate is over 5%. That is an elitist ass rule, and it's a very kind of like uppity dumbass rule. I know that, but I believe that in my core. Like, that's going to be a hill that I'm willing to die on. I just don't think that you should get a luxury vehicle if it's why are you financing a $70,000 car at a 16% interest rate? The math just don't math the math don't be mathing. So if I'm in a luxury vehicle, you already know the interest rate has to be crazy because I can go right to Toyota, and at the very least, I'm gonna have a reliable ass vehicle, and they're gonna give me a good interest rate. A lot, and these luxury vehicles don't even be about shit. Like, listen, I just got an oil change, and it would have been if I didn't already have it worked out in my plan. My oil change. There was nothing else wrong with my vehicle. An oil change. I'm talking like, nigga, you rolling up at Jiffy Lube and they finna change your oil. $400 fucking for a Mercedes. And I'm not joking. I will literally go get the invoice. I didn't pay it because it was credited because I worked it out in my agreement, but it would have cost $400. If you have a Mercedes, you know that they have a service and a B service. B service is okay, so you get an oil change once a year. A service is $400, at the very least $400. B service, which is every other year, where you got to get all the extra bullshit, $800. And who has a Mercedes? Tell if I'm lying, bitch. I'm finna end this live, y'all. I am tripping. I'm thinking I'm talking to my friends. I'm on YouTube and all that. I'm tripping. Oh my God. I probably don't say this. If I'm lying, I'm flying. $400 and $800. I'm not joking. So these luxury vehicles come with luxury prices. I'm telling you, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. And another thing that's not what it's cracked up to be is when people be trying to sell y'all, be trying to make y'all think that it's the best idea to get all of your cars in your business name. Have you seen the rates for commercial insurance? Have you seen the rates for the interest rates that they're giving commercially? No, I'm not doing it. My bad, y'all. I'm so sorry. And I'm only sorry because I have y'all know we got a lot of our aunties in here. I thought I was just on TikTok because y'all know TikTok is, is more casual. How can you see your credit score without AU accounts? It's not your credit score without AU accounts. It's just, how do I say it? Like, if you know that your score is only good because of AU accounts, then you know that you need to have more primary trade lines. You should never have more AU accounts than you have primary trade lines. But also, she said I'm an auntie and it's okay. I'm sorry, TT. I don't normally do that. I be going on my tangents and I be getting into it a little too much. I'm so sorry. But it's not necessarily like what your score is without the AU. It's there are two different types of good credit. There can be two people that have a 750 credit score. One person can have a 750 credit score because let's say they're on their mom's credit card, or they're on someone else's credit card, and they only have one credit card of their own, right? And they have a 750 credit score. And then you can have another person who has a 750 credit score, but they have all primary accounts, meaning like it's your accounts. The person who has the 750 with the primary accounts are going to have more borrowing power because your credit score is based on you. It's based on stuff that you've done, not based on what someone else is doing with their credit card. Not that it's anything wrong with having the AU. I'm not telling you to disconnect your AU accounts, but I am telling you that if you do have AU accounts, understand that doesn't, no matter what your score reflects, no matter what, you have to show what you can do with your own primary trade lines. So I don't think that you should have more than two AU accounts on your credit report at all. Like I have none. I have zero trade lines, and I went from a 400 to an 800 just solely off primary trade lines. And I'm saying that because a lot of people think that the only way to get good credit is to have authorized use. I've never in my life bought a trade line ever. I don't even recommend you ever doing it. It's a waste of money. Because you can very well build up your score on your own. I don't have my people don't have. I don't have nobody to even go to ask, can they put me on their credit card from 20 years ago? If you do, get it. Take the alley-oop. But the only way that you're going to be able to dunk it if you build your own credit as well. Don't have your whole credit report relying on the authorized user account, because I don't care if you have an 800 credit score, you still are not going to be able to get anything. And if you do get stuff, it's not going to be at the rate that you would get it if you had that 800 with you based on your credit report. Does that make sense? Like you can't, they can't be your full, it can't be all that's to your credit report is AU accounts. I want to, it's going to sound disgusting, but hold on, y'all. Ugh. Yeah, I do suggest that you add your kids to your credit cards when they are, around like 17. No, so they don't, not necessarily that they look down on AU. They only look down on it if, like I said, your whole credit, if they took away that AU account and your score goes from 750 to 500, then that means that your whole credit profile was dependent on an AU account, which is obviously not dependent on your history. You didn't do anything for that. You just was added to someone else's trade line. And a lot of right, someone just said, I'm a real estate agent, and we actually omit them. Exactly. A lot of companies will omit AU accounts if you can't prove, if it's not a spouse. Like if people are married, then that's considered household income. Yes, that's fine. But if you don't live in a household, a lot of companies will omit, or if you can't prove that you've made payments on that account, they will omit it. They will literally take it from their consideration and only judge you based on your accounts. Is it hard to get accounts removed from check systems? I mean, I don't know what's considered hard. I don't know. I'm going to lose my mind, y'all. I haven't. And I keep seeing when you saying that you can't get an answer, but for some reason I don't see your question. Say it again real quick while I'm looking so I can make sure that I see it. What happens to the credit score? Once the person established their own credit? What you mean? What is the best software app to get a factual credit score? MyFICO or the Experian app. I know I need some tea. This is a lifelong issue. For some reason, every single time I talk, like for a long period of time, my throat gets dry, and it just always does this. I'm used to it now, but I just think I don't know. If you upgrade a credit card, can you still get the welcome bonus? Most cards won't allow you to do that. I think American Express has a rule against that. A one-time lifetime welcome bonus type thing. You know what? No, because when I upgraded, I was able to get the welcome bonus. So yeah, you just can't get it twice. Is what I meant. So yeah, when you get another card, you're able to take advantage of the welcome bonus for that specific card if you haven't gotten it in the past. Yeah, I'm liking Texas. May I ask why you don't use the question box? Cause I'm slow. I really be forgetting that it's there. I'm gonna be honest. Ooh, chow, it's a lot. Okay, let me see. It's a lot of questions. I didn't realize y'all be putting them in there. I can click on it. It's gonna come. You can receive questions when badges. You can receive questions when badges are on, but you can't show them. Okay. How do you go about getting a credit card for your business? I got all of my business card based on my personal credit. Like I just apply at the card for the cards that I wanted from the banks, and they pull my personal credit. It's not, the cards are not reporting on my personal credit report, but I absolutely utilize my personal credit score to get the cards that I want. But most people, they'll just build their business credit score and then do that. That I'm impatient. I just was like, listen, I already have the score the personal score that I want, so I'm just gonna use that. Because I mean, keep in mind, I'm also the person that doesn't care about increase. I don't care about increase. Like you, I don't care one bit about them. So, but a lot of people do care about them, so they won't use their personal credit to apply for business credit because they're afraid of the increase. I don't care about increase. I just don't care about them. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Can you explain how you say your due date? I just called my bank and said, can you put my due date on this date? Banks they want you to pay your bill. So if you're telling them that this day is better for you to make your payment, it ain't like they're gonna say no. You know what I'm saying? So most banks are gonna just say, okay. She said earlier the Citibank prefer or the Blue Cash. For what? Do you recommend to close a credit card? No, I don't recommend you close a credit card. So y'all know how I be showing off, not showing off, but you know how, like, for instance, I'll say, hey, my credit limit is this for this card. I still have $200 credit cards in my wallet. Dead ass. I still have cards from years ago that has never graduated, has never gotten a credit limit increase. They just there. They still open. They still at $200 and they just sit. But remember when I was saying like credit age is something that I struggle with. If you struggle with credit age, you shouldn't be closing any accounts. So because I struggle with credit age, first of all, you should never let your first credit card close. Never let your first credit card close. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. Your first credit card should be with you for life. I don't care if it's a $200 credit. I don't care if it's a $100 credit card, because the limit doesn't matter. When it comes to credit cards, the limit doesn't matter. It's always going to be the time, how long you had that credit card. I always like to make this comparison. I have an $80,000 credit. I have my highest single. I'm trying to think. My highest single credit limit is $91,000. My $200 Capital One card is more beneficial to my credit profile than that $91,000 American Express card, by far. And it's simply because that $200 credit card has been open for 7 years at this, maybe 6 years. I don't know, a long time. I've never paid late, so it has 7 years of on-time payments reported. That credit age is attached to it. Therefore, that card means more than, if that card closes, that $200 closes, that is a hit that my credit score is not willing to take. It's a hit. I'll feel that miss. I will feel that miss. I'm gonna at least lose probably 50 points. Not even joking, because that's one of my oldest trade lines. I'm 29. My first trade line I opened at 18. It was student loans, right? And then the next account that I opened after that was my $200 secure card. So outside of my student loans, that's my oldest trade line. If I let that $200 card close, I'm gonna be on here crying. I'm just gonna get on live and just be crying. So if I ever get on live and you just see me sitting here, I'm not saying no words and tears just running down my face, you know the drill. they closed it. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it finally happened. No, it'll never happen, and I'm gonna tell you why. On your credit cards that you don't use, because keep in mind, banks will close your credit card due to non-activity. So if you don't use your credit card, banks are gonna close it. So in order to use it, in order to make sure that I use that card and I don't forget, I have a subscription on there. So I put one subscription on every single credit card that I don't use on a normal basis. So my everyday cards that I use, I don't have to put a subscription on them because I do use those. But my credit cards that I don't use, there is a subscription on every single card. Like I have Netflix on one, I have Apple Music on one, I have whatever other subscriptions like do I got Disney Plus? Subscription. So I have a subscription on every single credit card that I don't use because doing that is going to ensure that it won't close. It's always going to be posted transactions because keep in mind I have a subscription on there and I have auto pay. My bill every month is $12 or whatever. How Netflix is like $20 now, right? How much am I paying for that? Do they grandfather you into your current plan or do they like switch it? Because now I just realized that I'm paying $20. I think $20 a month for Netflix, but you put subscriptions on there and it won't close. So that's another kind of like I guess credit hack. $15, still too much. I think when I signed up, it was like $9.99. What the hell? And I don't even watch it. I be wanting to cancel it, but then I'm like, as soon as I cancel it, I'm gonna need it. But yeah, so I just put a subscription on all of my credit cards that I don't use so that I know that they're not gonna close because I can't afford to have them close. $19.99. You must have got the family plan. If my score goes from 800 to 750, I'm gonna be upset. I don't care if they hold. Yeah, I don't care if they hold the same weight. It's just the simple fact that it closed on some stupid stuff that I could have avoided. Like I don't care if your score is 850. Losing 50 points, you're gonna feel it regardless. Like that's just like nah. Credit score stuck at 690. I already have a good credit mix. Help. So, what's your utilization? So, typically, when your score is stagnant, you should switch up your utilization. Even if you've been reporting a utilization of let's say 3% every single month, if it stops giving you points, that means that you likely maxed out the points for credit utilization. So, a hack, what you can do is the very next month report a different utilization, report a little higher. So, report 11% or something like that, right? You're going to lose a few points that first time you reported, but then the very next month when you pay it back down, you're going to gain points. So that's also another thing that you can do. Can you please explain statement dates again? I'm confused. My utilization was high and this is my first reporting ever. Yes, so your credit card utilization is what's your balance versus your total limit, right? So on your statement date, whatever your balance is on that credit card is going to be sent to the credit bureaus. So if you have a $200 credit limit and your balance on your statement date was $100, then your utilization will be 50%. And keep in mind with statement dates, with any credit cards, everything is you have to do it at least 2 to 3 days in advance because the processing time takes about 2 to 3 days. Like when you pay your credit card, most cards is not made available immediately. It's them having to get it from because it's an ACH transaction, so they have to get it from your bank, transfer it over. So that process takes about 2 to 3 days. So don't wait until the night before your statement date to pay down your balance because pending transactions are not counted. So even if you have a pending payment of X amount of dollars, they still are only going to report what you have posted. Posted transactions are the only things that count. So for instance, if my statement date is the 15th of the month, I'm going to make sure that my balance is where I want it to be by at the very latest, like the 11th or the 12th. Just to be sure. Now, obviously, because someone just said, well, mine does update immediately. Some credit cards, they do. Like Apple Card is the perfect example of a bank that will, if you pay your Apple Card today, that limit is made available immediately. So some credit cards do that. But most credit cards, it takes about 2 to 3 days for processing. So to be safe, just make sure you give yourself about 2 to 3 days. I feel like I just attended a whole webinar and I just stumbled across your live. Oh, that's good. I like that. Self-lender seems good for building credit. Self-lender is really good. You like my hair? Like my hair? It's a girl. You trying to be funny, sis. I'm just playing. Thank you. Utilization should be no more than 10%, right, by your statement date. So, and by the way, when I'm saying 10%, I don't mean that you only can use 10% of your credit card. Like if you have $100 credit card, I'm not thinking that you're only going to spend $10 on that credit card. There's a difference between utilization and usage. People get those two intertwined. They get them mixed up, and it's two different things. Your usage is how often and how much you use your credit card. Usage. Banks like to see usage. Usage is a good thing. Having high usage is a good thing. The only time it ain't a good thing is if you don't pay it back. But obviously, I'm just going to assume that we know at this point to pay it back. So high usage to a bank is great. High utilization is not great because utilization is only counted on one day of the month. It's not like every single time you swipe your card, the credit bureaus are updated on your transactions. They don't give a hot shit. TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian don't give a fuck how many times you use your credit card throughout the month. They don't care how many they don't even care how many payments you made. They don't care. Only thing they care about is what is her balance on her statement date. All of that we don't care about. Just tell us the balance so that we can update her utilization. And the only thing we care about, let me plug this up, y'all, because my phone finna go dead. Okay. Is it charged? We good on that? Oh, let me plug the iPad up. Hold on. Because it'll go dead and I won't even notice. Shit. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me plug this up, y'all. Okay. So, yeah. So, usage. Damn. Come on, bro. Usage and utilization are two different things. Usage is good. High usage is good. High utilization is bad. Your utilization is only counted one day of the month. So your utilization doesn't matter on any other day of the month except your statement date. That's it. In fact, to give you a real life example, majority of the month, if we're talking just utilization, my credit card is probably at 20% utilization on just a normal everyday basis. Because again, I use my credit cards. But when that statement day come, child, that utilization is gonna be low. I would love to see your setup. I just moved, so my office is actually not set up. I put the plan in the back just to make it look like it's set up, but I don't have a setup yet. I'm actually still waiting on my office furniture. So I'm in an empty room with my desk, my computer, and just a plant. Yeah, so I can't wait to set it up because I'm supposed to be doing like a podcast. So I can't wait to like get my full setup, but it ain't here yet. Wow, I never knew the difference between usage and usage. Right. So again, because a lot of people get them mixed up. Usage is not bad. The banks love to see that you use your card. Remember, they want you to use your card, but they just want you to pay back. They want you to use it, but get them people their money back. Oh, I did say that. No, I didn't say that. Just act like I didn't say it. I wasn't supposed to freaking say that yet. Why did I do that? No, yeah. Come on. Ask the question about the credit. And just act like I didn't even mention the P word. That was so not supposed to. Shit. I should be talking. Hold on. Yeah, please don't say nothing in the group. Don't say nothing on like none of the social media. And then act surprised when it's announced. Because we planning a whole rollout. So still act surprised. Be like, oh, I never saw this shit coming. Because you never saw it coming. Let me answer some questions. I do actually want some tea. Grand opening and grand closing. What you mean by grand opening and grand closing? How does the pledge loan work? From Navy Federal, the pledge loan from Navy Federal is literally like a self-lender. So like you pay into a savings account every single month, and then at the end of the whatever the agreed upon term, you get the money back. Please explain utilization and how to maintain it. Utilization, the only way, the best way to explain it and to maintain it is to make sure that you are aware of your statement date. Once you are aware of your statement date, a few days before your statement date, whatever your credit limit is, pay 90% of it down. Like really, that's really all it is. So if your statement date is on the 15th of the month, by the 10th, you should make sure that your balance is below 10% of the total balance. Yeah, I am. And how long does it take to generate? How long does it take to generate a credit score? Ooh, that is a good question. Let me see if I can tell y'all about this thing first. Hold on. I don't know if I can talk about this on live. I'll see. But it typically takes about 6 months. It takes about 6 months. So for FICO score, you have to have a trade line for at least 6 months to generate a credit score. Well, at first you did, but companies are coming out with products it makes it faster. Experian Gold makes it faster. Her letter question? What letter question? Let me search for because I see a lot of people ask me to answer it. Yeah. My bad. I got a phone call. What was the question? Can you post it again? If I miss your questions, I'm sorry. Because y'all know I'm on. Why is my cousin steady calling me? Y'all know I'm on live on 3 different platforms. So it's a lot of questions on each. So I don't be trying to miss your questions for sure. I don't see hers. I don't even see it in the question box. Oh, wait. Instagram put the questions from the stories on here? That is so dope. I didn't know they did that. The sound gone. All right. I got to end the live on Instagram because my cousin called. So when that happens, the sound is gone. What about establishing good credit for a minor? They can't build credit until they're 18. But one thing you can do as a parent is when 6 months before their 18th birthday, I would add them to if you have a credit card that's in good standing that you report a low utilization to, no late payments, I would add them to on your credit card at least 6 months before their 18th birthday. So that by the time they turn 18, they already have a generated credit score and they don't have to wait 6 more months. And then immediately get them their own credit card. Immediately. If you have a child and they're on your credit card, immediately get them their own credit card. Statement date and due date are not the same dates. I don't even think y'all was talking about that. I'm trying to catch up on the comments, but y'all having conversations, so I don't. Where do you find your statement date? Good question. Okay. So if you look at your credit card bill, there is going to be a range of 28 to 30 days, depending on whatever month you're looking at. The last day of that billing cycle is your statement date. The last day of that billing cycle is your statement date. Will you explain what the profile is for rebuilding credit? Yeah, I can do that real quick. So when it comes to credit mix and credit profile, what is a great credit profile to establish in the beginning? At least two credit cards. At least one short-term installment. At least one long-term installment. I can see this, yeah. And then credit utilization between 1 and 10%. Well, we'll just do it. It's really, yeah. I'm just gonna put credit utilization below 10%. I don't feel like I should do one because people, when I say below 10%, people be like, so you mean 0? All right. So that's the perfect credit profile that you can have in the beginning. If you have more than 2 credit cards, that's perfectly fine. This is at least. So the perfect credit profile that you should probably mirror if you want to raise your score in the quickest way possible having at least 2 active credit cards. It doesn't matter the limits. And if you do have 2 store cards, you need to get 1 traditional bank card at least, right? So you got 2 credit cards. Of those 2 credit cards, you need to make sure that your utilization is between 1 and 10% on a consistent basis. Consistent. Don't, not just 1 month. It has to be consistent. And then having at least one short-term installment. A short-term installment is any installment that has a term length of under 36 months. So personal loans, self-lender loans, pledge loans, the list goes on. Any type of loan that is under 36 months is considered a short-term installment. And then one long-term installment is any installments over 36 months. So if you have student loans, then you already have a long-term installment. You don't necessarily need to get another one. If you have an auto loan, you already have a long-term installment. If you have a mortgage, that's a long-term installment. So having at least one of those on your credit profile within the last 4 to 5 years is advised. So if let's say you finish paying your car note 2 years ago, that don't mean that you have to go out and get another car loan today. No, it's still on your credit report, because when an account closes, it's still on your report. It's just closed, but that still makes up your credit history, which is why you should never try to delete your closed accounts if they're not bad. Been following you for a while. I took my score from 407 to my most recent update, 757. Yes, shout out to you. I like the extra card. I really like them. Let me see. Yes, what about if you're rebuilding credit? Does this still apply? Yes. This profile that I named, let me make it bigger because I see it's still kind of small to y'all. And I'm gonna turn y'all around so y'all can see. Hold on. Okay, so this is the perfect credit profile. Having at least 2 credit cards, and the reason why I say at least 2 is because no matter how good you are with one credit card, it's always still going to be, it's just still one trade line. Like it again, remember when I told y'all at the beginning, when you two or less trade lines is always going to be considered a beginner starter trade. I mean, a beginner starter credit report, regardless. So you want to have at least 2 credit cards. No matter what the limits are, it could be two $200 credit cards. It could be whatever. But as long as one of them is a traditional card that's not tied to a specific retail store. So don't just have a Old Navy card and a Children's Place card. You can, but in addition to that, I need you to have at least one card that you can spend anywhere. And then 1 short-term installment, 1 long-term installment, and credit utilization between 1 and 10%. If you mirror this profile, your score is, your profile is going to be strategically, let me show both. It's going to be strategically, it's going to be strategically kind of like divided, so you are able to take advantage of most of these points right here that's on the screen. So as you can see how our credit scores are breaking down, when you mirror this profile, you are putting yourself in the best position to get as many of those points as you possibly can. And keep in mind, if you are a person who has collections, you should absolutely be following this credit profile as well, because even when you have collections, even when you have charge-offs, even when you have a bankruptcy or insert whatever other bad credit item here, you want to still make sure that you are getting points in the other categories as much as you can, because you're already going to lose most of your points for your payment history when you have, collections, right? So that now you should probably be looking to take advantage of all the rest of the categories, so your credit score can still be in a healthy place. Because a lot of people think when they get a collection or get a charge off that, okay, I'm just not going to think about my credit for some years and it'll go away. Yeah, everything does have an expiration date of 7 years. But unless you have built credit in those past 7 years, you still don't have good credit even after the item is deleted. Or even if you get every collection deleted off your credit report, every charge off deleted off your credit report, it still does not matter if you have not built credit. Because good credit doesn't mean that you don't have collections or charge-offs. Just because you don't have collections or charge-offs, that don't mean you have good credit. Good credit is you have built a credit history that shows that you are a low risk to lenders. That's all good credit means. You have built a credit history to show that you are a low risk of borrowing money. That is all that it boils down to. Just because you don't have collections or just because you don't have charge-offs does not mean that you can be responsible with a credit card. It just means that you haven't had a collection or a charge off. That doesn't, like, a lot of people think, oh, I'm just gonna get my collections deleted, I'm just gonna get my charge offs deleted, and that's it. My score should go up. No, you have to still build credit. That's why even when you hire a company, they can't do everything. You still got to build credit. They can't build credit for you. So you have to build credit. Majority of your points, look at how our scores are broken down. And I should have put, let me put just to, in a more complete picture, I'm just going to put the percentages really quick. I just for when you guys screenshot it, when you go back, I want it to make sense. So allow me a few seconds to update this. Hold on, y'all. Shit, trying to do this with one hand. All right. So 35, 30, 15, 10, 10. Okay, yeah. So this is your complete credit profile, right? So even if you have collections or charge-offs, there are still points to be had. Charge-offs and collections are not the end of the world. You still can build credit with having those, because not all of your points are dedicated to your payment history. It's just not. And really, if we're really being honest, if you do have derogatory accounts, you really should be reporting a utilization between 1% and 3%. And the reason is because you're able to take advantage of more points in this category so that you can maximize your score. So you can maximize your score because you already know you're not getting nearly any, or not, you getting some, but you're not getting a lot of these points if you have, derogatory accounts in payment history, right? So let's say we count that out. You still have all of these other points that you can take advantage of. So you have to be strategic in how you behave. Report a 1% to 3% utilization so you can get majority of all of the 165 points for credit utilization, right? So it's always a way to build credit. It's always a way to build credit. Oh, this wine getting like nasty. Ugh. So yeah, screenshot that, y'all, because I'm finna put the phone down. Make sure y'all can see it. Cause I gotta put it back on the charger. Can you get a charge off and collections removed before time? Charge off and collections get deleted every day. But I'm purposely not talking about that tonight, only because tonight I just wanted to talk about building credit, and then maybe tomorrow we can just talk about repairing, because rebuilding and repairing are two totally different things. So today we're just gonna talk about building, and then the next live we can talk about repairing. Like literally, we can go over the whole blueprint of how to properly get collections deleted, how to properly get charge-offs deleted. Coming from someone who I've gotten thousands of charge-offs, every sort of account I've assisted in helping them get deleted. There's no account that's impossible, if depending on how it's reporting. So that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. And when we talk about repairing credit, I'll have more like tangible things to show you guys, because I already have like a whole blueprint of that. And yeah, so but today we're just gonna talk about building. All right, y'all got it, because my arm is tired. All right. Yeah, if you have student loans, you already have a long-term installment. Yeah, make sure you follow. Because yeah, the next live, what's today? Tomorrow is practice day, so if y'all are going to be up late tomorrow, we can do it tomorrow. I'm trying to think, because I want to prepare for that one, because when we talk about repairing credit, it's showing you the letters that you're going to have to see. So tomorrow, let's do that. Tomorrow at it'll be late. It'll have to be around at least 9 Central, 8 or 9 Central, because my son is going to be at practice till about 7:30. So if y'all are up late tomorrow, we can do the repairing, but that'll be more serious. That'll be a more like, I recommend that most people are on the YouTube when we do that, because if you're on TikTok, you're not going to be seeing the letters and all of that. So you can follow me on YouTube, which is just Road to 750. And tomorrow we'll go over how to challenge a collection and how to challenge a charge off. Collections, and I feel like we should keep it topic specific. So tomorrow we'll just talk about collections. That's what we'll do. Tomorrow we're going to call it the collections, how to dispute collections. We're just going to do, because I want to do them one at a time, because when we mix them and talk about, because there are different rules between collections and charge-offs, all of that. Let's just keep it specific. So today was about building credit. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how to dispute collections. I'll be showing you guys the letters. You're able to screenshot it. It's free. Only thing that I ask is you like the video, because that just helps with the algorithm. So if you're on TikTok, make sure you double tap the screen. I think it's 3 times or whatever. And then if you're on YouTube, make sure you like the video and make sure you follow if you are not following. It really helps. It helps with being a small creator. So just like it and subscribe. I said follow. It's subscribe. And then tomorrow we're gonna do the collections. Road to 750 is my YouTube. On my shirt. Road to 750. ROADTO 750. I just realized I had this shirt on. I swear to God, I didn't even realize I had this shirt on. That's funny. So yeah, Road to 750 on YouTube. So yeah, that is our building credit live. And it's really just the same. Once you get your $200 credit line, once you start learning the behaviors of that of multiple transactions, multiple payments, report your statement date, reporting the low utilization, you literally just do that with every credit card, and that's how you continue to build credit. One thing I do is the companies that don't pull my credit for an increase, I ask every 90 days. I'm one of those people that ask for credit every 90 days. I don't care. I ask every 90 days. Even if I don't need it. Like, for instance, last week I just asked I asked Chase for a credit limit increase. And I know I didn't need it, but I'm gonna take it. And they did give me an increase too. They gave me an increase. But that's what I do. I ask every 90 days. And because a lot of people always be like, girl, why you keep asking for increasing? I just like to have the capital available to me if I need it. Just if I need it. I don't know. I feel like that just makes sense, because I don't want to be in a position where if I need it, I don't have it when I could have proactively already asked for it and had it. I don't know. It just makes sense in my mind. I guess I don't know. I don't spend nearly as much as I have, but I mean, I got it. So I would suggest that you ask every 90 days for the companies that don't pull your credit, because why not? It don't hurt you. All they can say is no. I don't be scared about getting told no from a company, because I'm gonna ask you again in 90 days, and hopefully you change your mind. Y'all gotta quit caring about what these dang banks think of you in terms of, I don't want to keep asking, girl, why? They got money available, and you gotta know when to ask. Like, listen, around holiday time, I always say on Black Friday, y'all call that Black Friday, I call that Money Day, because companies will literally open up their entire holiday budget the day after Thanksgiving and give buku increases. I'm talking, like, I swear to you, I think I still have a screenshot. My spending power, for reference, my spending power typically for, let's say, my platinum card is gonna, depending on the month, but it's gonna range between $60,000 or $80,000 that I could spend. I don't spend it, but I could spend, right? No joke. I tried on Black Friday. They gave me $120,000 to spend, because companies want you to, they know that most people are going to spend a lot of money during holiday season. A lot of companies will literally save a whole budget just to give out during holiday season, because they want you to spend it, right? So the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday is Money Friday, because that's when you should be asking for an increase on all of your credit cards. In fact, but like the 90 days before Black Friday, I don't ever ask for any increases until Black Friday. Yeah, that's because that's when you're gonna really get your biggest increase. And also, it's tax time. Tax time is the next biggest section. So today is what child, what today is? I don't even know what's today. What is today? Okay, February 9th. When does I know they're behind, but typically isn't it like April when people get their refunds, or when? Whenever it is, when you start seeing people start getting their refunds, ask for your increase. Because you think banks ain't in these Facebook groups and know when people get their refunds. They know. Trust me. February? Ain't they behind this year though? Oh, people getting refunds already? Like people getting refunds now? I thought they were behind. I don't know. The point is, tax season is a good time to ask for credit limit increases, and holiday season. Oh, I didn't know people was getting refunds now. What? I didn't know that. Okay. Oh, damn. It seems this year. It just don't seem like February already. Right. Business taxes, child, is every freaking 4 months. So I don't even want to talk about taxes. I just got a letter from the IRS today. I always want some more money. It just don't make no sense. April is the last month. Okay, yeah, that's the cut off. My bad. Yeah, I got that mixed up. But the point is, holiday season and tax season are when they will give up their largest funds. The largest funds. And February 9th, you said as soon as February 15th. Oh, damn, it's right around the corner. All right, y'all. So I am going to end this and I will be back because I am so sleepy. I'll be back tomorrow. It'll be more structured. Make sure you are following the YouTube. Make sure you are coming over to the YouTube if you want to see the screen because I'll be actually showing the letters tomorrow, so I can't do that on TikTok. And yeah, I will say this and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Positive vibes. Have a great, amazing, beautiful night and morning. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.